Michael Caine, born March 14, 1933 in Rotherhithe, South London, grew up in a working-class family during wartime Britain. Much of his childhood was shaped by the hardships of World War II, including being evacuated from London. These early struggles later fueled the resilience and discipline that defined his acting career. Now 92 years old, Caine has reached a point where he no longer hides his experiences, including the difficult colleagues he encountered throughout his long life in film. After retiring in 2023, he recently appeared in public in a wheelchair for the first time, supported by close friend Vin Diesel, a moment that deeply moved fans and highlighted the realities of age and declining health. Caine's health issues began in 2018 after he broke his ankle in a fall, followed by a diagnosis of spinal stenosis, which led to major surgery in 2022. Over the years, he went from using a cane to a walking frame and eventually a wheelchair. Despite these challenges, he remains graceful and open, reflecting on life with honesty rather than fear. His retirement came shortly after finishing his final film, The Great Escaper, 2023. At 90, filming had become physically exhausting, and Caine admitted he could barely manage more than one take per scene. Still, he delivered a performance filled with dignity, making it a fitting farewell to an extraordinary career. Caine's last red carpet appearance showed both the effects of age and the timeless charm that made him a legend. He chose to retire with respect, not fade away into roles that no longer matched his stature. Throughout his career, he worked with countless actors, but not all collaborations were smooth. Caine has openly or subtly revealed that a handful of co-stars were particularly difficult due to ego, unpredictability, or unprofessional behavior. These experiences became memorable chapters in his life, shaping his views on trust and respect in film. Even now, Caine speaks candidly about aging, mortality, and the peace he feels after living a full, meaningful life surrounded by his wife, children, and grandchildren. One of Michael Caine's most surprising conflicts in Hollywood came with Mickey Rooney, a surprise to many, given Rooney's long-standing reputation as a charming, beloved character actor with decades of experience in the industry. Their feud erupted during the filming of the 1972 film Pulp, where the two shared many scenes. Rooney, a big star known for his dynamic personality, was sometimes unpredictable on set. Caine later described the days of Pulp as difficult, largely due to Rooney's behavior. "Sometimes I felt like I was acting with a storm instead of an actor," Caine said in an interview. Caine said Rooney had a habit of changing his lines and disrupting the rhythm of a scene, which was at odds with Caine's meticulous preparation. "I don't understand why he always wants to do things his own way, even when we've agreed on the script," Caine said, still sounding angry. Rooney, meanwhile, was not shy, once saying, "Michael always wanted things to be a certain way. I believe in instinct and spontaneity. Sometimes they just don't match." Although Pulp would become a cult classic with a devoted fan base, Caine's memories of Rooney are a mix of admiration and frustration. He was a talented actor, but working with him was like trying to ride a wild horse, Caine joked in another interview, both acknowledging his talent and pointing out his struggles. The clash between these two personalities is a clear example of how, in Hollywood, fame and talent never guarantee harmony, and the quiet confrontations can sometimes leave a deeper mark than the best shots. 2. Laurence Olivier. Respect is one thing, but the near worship surrounding Laurence Olivier was something entirely different. Michael Caine often expressed admiration for Olivier's extraordinary talent, but that didn't stop him from acknowledging the pressure of sharing the screen with such a towering legend. During the filming of Sleuth in the early 1970s, Caine directly felt the weight of Olivier's reputation. Olivier approached the set as if it were his own stage, carrying an authority that demanded reverence rather than collaboration. Caine, still a rising star at the time, couldn't deny Olivier's brilliance, yet he had to contend with the sharp edges of his co-star's personality. "Working with Olivier was both inspiring and exhausting," Caine said in an interview. "He didn't just act, he wanted to control every breath on screen." Olivier, in turn, commented about Caine. "Michael is ambitious, but he needed to learn to respect the rhythm of someone who has stood on the stage for over 40 years. Sleuth revolved around a psychological battle between an older, dominant intellect and a younger, determined challenger. And off-screen, the dynamic was not much different. Olivier represented the pinnacle of British theater, while Caine, coming from a working-class background, was the outsider striving to prove himself. The script positioned them as equals, but Olivier's commanding presence often overshadowed everything on set. Crew members later recalled Olivier requesting multiple retakes, not always out of a pursuit of perfection, but sometimes as a subtle assertion of control. Caine put it more bluntly, he didn't just want to act, he wanted to play the entire game. Ironically, that tension lit up the screen, giving Sleuth an electric chemistry that earned critical acclaim and Academy Award nominations. Behind the scenes, however, Olivier's unrelenting dominance left little room for Caine to express himself. For Caine, acting was a shared collaborative exchange. But with Olivier, that exchange often felt unbalanced. Olivier was a giant, Caine reflected, and giants cast enormous shadows. Olivier also admitted, "Michael challenged me more than anyone else, and I liked it, even if it was sometimes unbearable." Working with Olivier left Caine with a mixture of admiration and exhaustion, brilliance intertwined with bruises. It was a vivid reminder that extraordinary talent can inspire deeply, even as it demands more than those around it can comfortably give. 3. Sylvester Stallone. When Michael Caine agreed to star in Victory in the early 1980s, he envisioned a gritty wartime ensemble built on trust, unity, and shared purpose. Instead, he quickly found himself at odds with Sylvester Stallone, fresh off the success of Rocky, and seemingly determined to center the entire film around his own character. Caine later admitted that Stallone's ego was the real tension on set. "I expected teamwork, but sometimes it felt like the movie belonged to him alone," Caine said in an interview. The friction between them was quiet but persistent. Caine favored balance, collaboration, and the subtle rhythm of ensemble performance. Stallone, on the other hand, pushed to dominate every scene, reshaping the narrative so that his American goalkeeper became the central hero. "Michael is a consummate professional," Stallone acknowledged in another interview. "But I wanted the audience to feel my character's journey. Maybe I overstepped at times." Crew members recalled the strain as Caine's calm demeanor masked growing irritation with the shifting scripts and spotlight-hogging moments. Reflecting on the experience, Caine remarked, "It was supposed to be about the team. Suddenly, it was about one man." Caine played the weary strategic officer, the quiet architect behind the escape plan. While Stallone pushed for stunts, heroic shots, and personal triumphs, the clash of styles created subtle but continuous tension on set, a struggle between ensemble storytelling and individual showmanship. In a later interview, Stallone commented about Caine, "He has incredible discipline and focus. I respected that, even if it sometimes conflicted with my approach." Despite the underlying conflict, Caine never let his professionalism waver. He didn't raise his voice or walk off set. He adapted while holding on to his principles of collaboration. Yet even his legendary patience was tested as Stallone's obsession with heroics gradually tilted the film away from its intended ensemble balance. Years later, Caine praised the film's premise, its camaraderie, and his work alongside Max von Sydow. But whenever Stallone's name came up, his tone sharpened. "Some actors behave as if cinema belongs solely to them," Caine said. "It never does." Ultimately, Victory became more than a football and war movie for Caine. It was a vivid lesson in how ego can turn teamwork into tension, and how sometimes the wisest choice is to rise above the clash rather than fight it head-on. 4. Marilu Henner. Michael Caine's time working with Marilu Henner on Noises Off proved to be one of the more challenging partnerships of his career. Henner, celebrated for her sharp comedic instincts and formidable work ethic, often brought an intensity that Caine found overwhelming. Her tendency to assert strong opinions about scene structure, comedic timing, and even the delivery of other actors' lines quickly became a source of tension. Marilu has incredible instincts, but sometimes it felt like she was directing the entire rehearsal, Caine admitted in a later interview. For Caine, a seasoned actor with decades of experience in both drama and comedy, Henner's assertiveness sometimes felt intrusive. Noises Off is a farce, a genre that relies on exact timing, coordinated physical chaos, and seamless ensemble work. Any small disagreement could throw off the delicate rhythm, and the clash of Henner's forceful style with Caine's disciplined approach often created a subtle tug-of-war during rehearsals and filming. Henner, reflecting on their dynamic, commented, "Michael is a master of timing and control. I pushed him, but only because I wanted the scenes to pop, never to undermine him." Behind the laughter on screen, the atmosphere on set could be tense. Crew members recalled moments when arguments over a line or a beat threatened to derail a scene, though both actors maintained professionalism. Caine, in another interview, said, "Working with Marilu reminded me how crucial mutual respect is. You can't have chaos on stage without trust, and sometimes that trust has to be fought for." Henner also spoke of Caine with admiration. "He's patient, disciplined, and brilliant. Even when we clashed, I learned so much from him about precision and rhythm in comedy." Despite the underlying friction, The film was completed successfully and audiences responded warmly to its humor. Yet for Caine, the experience was a vivid lesson in the delicate balance required in ensemble performance. How strong personalities can ignite creative sparks, but also how misalignment, even subtle, can test the limits of collaboration. 5. Shelley Winters. Michael Caine rarely spoke negatively about fellow actors, but his memories of working with Shelley Winters on Alfie stood out as one of the few exceptions. Winters arrived on set with undeniable skill and an equally formidable temperament. Caine later described her fierce temper, impatience with younger performers, and her tendency to dominate scenes with sheer force of will. Shelley had a presence that could fill the entire room, Caine recalled in an interview, and sometimes it felt like the room was all hers. Despite admiring her talent, Caine often found her approach clashed with his philosophy of subtle, collaborative acting. Winters played a wealthy American woman whose on-screen dynamic with Alfie blended tension, allure, and confrontation, and off-screen those qualities were equally present. She could charm you one moment and cut you down the next, Caine admitted. Trust on set was fragile with her. One day she'd be warm, the next she'd be impossible. Winters herself spoke of Caine with both respect and defiance. Michael is precise, disciplined, and clever, but sometimes I pushed him because I wanted to own the scene, never to diminish him, only to elevate it. Her tendency to make spontaneous changes in line delivery or scene structure often forced Caine to adapt quickly, creating a subtle tug-of-war that made rehearsals and shoots tense. Crew members recalled moments when the air on set felt electric, charged with both comedic energy and underlying friction. The role required careful timing, emotional restraint, and a balance of allure and conflict. Yet Winters' unpredictability often pulled the rhythm off course. Caine noted in another interview, "Talent without control is like fire without a hearth. It burns whatever is nearby, and sometimes Shell's fire comes dangerously close to me." Despite these challenges, both actors maintained professionalism, and the film was completed successfully. Audiences loved the performance, though the behind-the-scenes struggle left a lasting impression on Caine. For Caine, Winters represented the contradictions of Hollywood itself, breathtaking talent coupled with disruptive chaos. Their collaboration produced unforgettable moments on screen, but personally, it was a lesson in vigilance, adaptability, and the fragile balance required in ensemble acting. Winters' brilliance was never in doubt, but her volatility ensured that every scene was as much a test of patience as it was of skill. Even as Caine reaches 92, he reflects on life and mortality with rare clarity and acceptance. Surrounded by a loving family, he approaches the inevitability of death with calm gratitude, informed by both personal loss, most notably helping his terminally ill father pass in 1955, and decades of rich life experience. His philosophy, shared in his 2024 memoir, Don't Look Back, You'll Trip Over, My Guide to Life, emphasizes looking forward, valuing connection, and embracing life's challenges with resilience. Despite age and its limitations, Caine radiates contentment, appreciating the extraordinary life and career he has lived. A life made richer even amidst moments of conflict with legends like Shelley Winters. Michael Caine's extraordinary career in film spans decades, continents, and a remarkable array of collaborations that illuminate both the brilliance and the challenges of working in Hollywood. His experiences with some of the greatest talents of his generation reveal a professional life marked not only by accolades and iconic performances, but also by complex interpersonal dynamics that shaped his approach to acting and life itself. Looking back, one sees a thread running through Caine's journey, a deep respect for talent, an unwavering commitment to craft, and an acute awareness that collaboration, trust, and patience are as essential to a successful production as skill and creativity. From the early stages of his career, Caine learned that working alongside towering figures often came with unexpected challenges. His time with Laurence Olivier during the filming of Sleuth stands as a defining example. Olivier, a giant in British theater and cinema, commanded every room he entered. Michael Caine, then a rising star from a working-class background, found himself navigating a set dominated by Olivier's imposing presence. While the script positioned them as equals, the off-screen reality often skewed toward Olivier's authority. Crew members recalled multiple retakes that seemed less about perfecting a scene and more about asserting control, a subtle psychological tug-of-war between two actors of markedly different styles. Caine himself reflected on this dynamic with a mixture of awe and caution. Olivier was a giant, he said, and giants cast enormous shadows. Olivier, for his part, acknowledged Caine's ambition and determination. "Michael challenged me more than anyone else, and I liked it, even if it was sometimes unbearable." This professional friction, while difficult at times, contributed to the electric tension on screen that earned Sleuth critical acclaim and Academy Award nominations. It became a vivid lesson for Caine. Extraordinary talent can inspire, but it can also demand more than those around it can comfortably give. The lessons learned from Olivier were soon applied in navigating other challenging collaborations. Michael Caine's experience with Mickey Rooney on Pulp further highlighted the delicate balance between admiration and personal boundaries. Rooney, celebrated for his early stardom and vibrant personality, brought a creative energy that was sometimes unpredictable and disruptive. The clash between Caine's meticulous preparation and Rooney's improvisational instincts created tension on set, forcing Caine to adapt quickly while maintaining his own standards of discipline. "Working with him was like riding a wild horse," Caine remarked, acknowledging both the talent and the difficulties of the partnership. Rooney, aware of the friction, described Caine as a stabilizing force. "He taught me how to hold my own without stifling the scene," highlighting the mutual influence even in moments of tension. These experiences cemented a pattern in Caine's career: the awareness that personal and professional chemistry is crucial and that the finest performances often emerge from the careful negotiation of clashing personalities. The 1980s brought new challenges with Sylvester Stallone on the film Victory. Caine entered the project envisioning a cohesive ensemble, a narrative driven by teamwork, trust, and shared purpose. Stallone, fresh from the success of Rocky, had a different vision, seeking to position his character as the focal point of the film. The friction was never explosive, but simmered persistently, creating a quiet tension that pervaded the set. Caine, a seasoned actor who valued the rhythm and balance of ensemble performance, found Stallone's approach disruptive. It was supposed to be about the team. Suddenly, it was about one man. Caine reflected. Stallone acknowledged the clash, noting, "Michael is a consummate professional, but I wanted the audience to feel my character's journey. Maybe I overstepped at times." The dynamic between the two actors highlighted a recurring theme in Caine's career: the constant negotiation between individual ambition and collective storytelling. While the tension posed challenges, it also underscored Caine's commitment to professionalism and his ability to maintain artistic integrity amid conflicting visions. Equally illuminating were Caine's experiences with Marilu Henner during Noises Off. Henner, with her sharp comedic instincts and strong work ethic, brought an intensity that sometimes overwhelmed Caine. The farcical nature of the film required precise timing, physical coordination, and seamless ensemble performance, elements that could easily be disrupted by assertiveness or spontaneous changes. Henner's tendency to influence scene structure, comedic timing, and the delivery of others' lines created a subtle tug-of-war dynamic. Marilu has incredible instincts, but sometimes it felt like she was directing the entire rehearsal. Caine noted. Henner, reflecting on their collaboration, stated, "Michael is precise, disciplined, and clever. Even when we clashed, I learned so much from him about timing and rhythm." Their professional dance, alternating between collaboration and friction, reinforced the notion that ensemble acting is as much about navigating personalities as it is about delivering lines or hitting marks. Caine's partnership with Shelley Winters on Alfie provides yet another lens into the complexity of working with extraordinary yet volatile talent. Winters, a powerhouse performer with a fierce temperament, brought both brilliance and unpredictability to the set. Caine admired her deeply, but found her assertiveness and sudden shifts in performance challenging. Shelley had a presence that could fill the entire room, and sometimes it felt like the room was all hers, he said. Winters' own words captured the duality of their dynamic. "I pushed Michael not to undermine him, but to elevate the scene, and sometimes that push clashed with his approach." On screen, their scenes crackled with tension, allure, and conflict. Off-screen, the volatility required Caine to maintain constant vigilance, adaptability, and patience. This experience, perhaps more than any other, emphasized for Caine the importance of trust, mutual respect, and balance in performance. Across these collaborations, a clear pattern emerges. Caine's professional life was profoundly shaped by his ability to navigate the tension between his own disciplined approach and the varying temperaments of his co-stars. Whether confronting Olivier's dominance, Rooney's unpredictability, Stallone's ego, Henner's intensity, or Winters' volatility, Caine consistently demonstrated an extraordinary combination of patience, adaptability, and strategic restraint. Each challenging partnership became a lesson not just in acting, but in understanding human behavior, negotiating personality clashes, and preserving one's own artistic integrity. Beyond the immediate pressures of film sets, these experiences informed Caine's broader perspective on life and mortality. As he entered his 90s, he reflected openly on the inevitability of death, speaking with clarity, acceptance, and gratitude. His experiences, including the profound moment of helping his terminally ill father pass in 1955, shaped his understanding of suffering, resilience, and the fleeting nature of life. He embraced mortality not with fear, but with a calm appreciation for the richness of the life he had lived. These reflections are woven into his 2024 memoir, Don't Look Back, You'll Trip Over, My Guide to Life, which combines personal narrative with lessons distilled from decades of professional and personal experience. Caine's philosophy emphasizes looking forward, valuing relationships, and embracing challenges with courage and adaptability. Principles evident not only in his life, but in his approach to navigating the often turbulent waters of Hollywood. In summation, Michael Caine's career is a study in the interplay between talent, temperament, and the human element of collaboration. The conflicts he faced with Olivier, Rooney, Stallone, Henner, and Winters reveal a man deeply committed to his craft, capable of immense patience and strategic thinking, yet never blind to the demands or challenges posed by those around him. These experiences illuminate the dual nature of Hollywood itself, a place where extraordinary talent can inspire, elevate, and astonish, yet where personal dynamics, ego, and temperament can complicate even the simplest of productions. Caine's reflections, tempered by decades of observation and lived experience, provide invaluable insights into the delicate balance required to create art in collaboration with others. Through every clash, disagreement, and tense moment, Caine maintained his professionalism, preserved his artistic integrity, and ultimately produced work that has stood the test of time. His legacy is not only defined by the films he created, but also by the lessons he offers about navigating relationships, embracing differences, and finding equilibrium amid chaos. These lessons extend beyond the screen, offering wisdom applicable to anyone seeking to collaborate effectively, manage conflict gracefully, and live with purpose and perspective. As Caine reflects on his life at 92, the through line is clear. A combination of extraordinary talent, disciplined work ethic, adaptability, and emotional intelligence enabled him to thrive in an industry defined by both brilliance and volatility. He honors the lessons learned from conflict as much as those gained from harmony. His gratitude for family, colleagues, and life's experiences demonstrates a rare clarity and acceptance of the human journey. Caine's story is not merely one of cinematic achievement, but also a testament to the resilience, insight, and wisdom that come from navigating both the glories and the trials of life. In the end, his journey teaches that talent may open doors, but it is patience, integrity, and understanding of human complexity that allow one to walk through them with grace and leave a lasting legacy.